Hello there and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to talk about the trading post, and in this video we're going to take a look at the July offerings for the trading post, and this might be quite possibly the best month we've had. But before we jump into the brand new trading post stock, I just want to shout out my Twitch, twitch.tv/MrGM. You're going to see me streaming Dragonfly PTR and more over on twitch.tv/MrGM. every single day. Right, so yes, July is here with a brand new stock of the trading post this month. It's called July Celebration, and we actually get 1,400 traders tender this month as opposed to the 1,000 through the Traveler's Log. The monthly reward this month is actually probably one of the best ever, and that is the Grotto Netherwing Drake. This is a brand new dragon riding mount. This does have customizations allegedly, but I will be doing a video on that shortly after this video, going over all the customizations for it. But yes, this is a dragon riding mount, a dragon riding Nether Drake, which is going to be available to all players that complete the Traveler's Log in July, which is so cool. I love that. It was data mined a long time ago, but the model is finally here and it looks really awesome, and I'm a huge fan of the Grotto Netherwing Drake. So that's the monthly reward. So let's jump into what is available on the shop this month. So first and foremost is, yes, Tyrael's Charger. The Tyrael's Charger mount has been thrown around so often through the Diablo event, back on the store, etc, but is now available on the trading post at 750 tender. So if you didn't get it through the Diablo event, you can now obtain it through the trading post in the month of July. The next item is an ensemble, the Slithen Stalker's Leathers. This is a leather set for rogues, monks, druids, and demon hunters. This is a recolor of the PvP Legion set. Yeah, it's not a bad looking set. That will set you back 750 tender, and as mentioned is available for leather users. So this month's pet is the Spectral Tiger Cub. Yes, the elusive Spectral Tiger Cub, not the mount, the cub, the pet. This is available for 750 tender. This is a TCG exclusive item, which has gone for many millions of gold on the auction house over the years, and is now going to be available to all players during the month of July on the trading post. Next up is the Reigns of the Fell Crystal Scorpion. This was data mined originally with the first build of the trading post, and we're finally getting it in July for 650 tender. This is a recolor of the Reigns of the Amber Scorpion from the Calaxy, I believe, from Mr. Pandaria. It's a really cool looking mount. I love this green variant of the Scorpion mount. It's about time we got more Scorpion mounts for sure. And if you want to buy this in July, it is obviously just 650 traders tender. For 600 tender, you can get the Antoran Felspire. I don't think this was available to players. I think it's a NPC weapon from Antorus. I think one of the bosses uses it. I'm sure the comments can confirm that. But yeah, this is a very cool looking stuff, available at 600 tender in July. Yeah, very legion-y, very warlocky potentially, but yeah, you can do a lot with this for sure. The next item is Conquest. This is a two-handed sword transmog. This is a recolor of Armageddon, which is from Naxxramas, of course. 600 tender though for a two-handed weapon. Obviously the staff is also 600. It seems like a very steep amount of tender. It looks like they've actually increased the prices this month, which is slightly concerning with the potential possibility of trader tender being sold on the in-game store, but we'll see what happens with that. But yes, this is a kind of lighter recolor of the Armageddon weapon from Rathachi Naxxramas, which looks really cool. I really like that a lot. The next item is the Aldori War Mace. This is a two-handed mace transmog. Really like the look of this. Very Draenei, very purple, very glowy, very kind of TBC as well. This is 500 tender. Very cool looking mace. I don't think this is a recolor of any particular mace. I think this is just an unused item or a new item model which has been added to the game. Next up for 250 tender, you can get this awesome Filigreed. Yep, that's how you pronounce that. Lion's Maw shield. This is an awesome looking shield. I believe this has been in the game for a very long time and was originally intended for the cams of time, but it's finally being available to players. This is going to be available for Alliance and Horde, which is really cool. So that will be available at 250 tender, which actually seems pretty reasonable if you ask me. So yeah, very cool looking shield if that's what you're into. Next up are two helms. These are the Helms of the Fierce and the Helms of the Swift. I believe these are new items, and I believe they are references to the Lost Vikings, which is an original Blizzard game from many many, many moons ago. These are 225 tender each. Helm, cosmetic transmogs, so they're available for all armor types as well. Yeah, so just two different variants of this. So you kind of have the kind of yellowy one and then the kind of gray-blue one. But yeah, 225 tender for those two each, which isn't too bad. And it's a very cool looking helm. I think it's fun. And obviously you can make it work with a lot of transmogs. The next item is a one-handed sword. This is the Methstros Razor. Yep, that's how that's pronounced, of course. 200 tender for this one. Kind of a cool, glowy sort of one-handed sword. I don't recognize the model. It looks very kind of Naxxramas, but also a little bit too high res potentially for Naxxramas. So I'm sure you guys in the comments can fight that one out. But I don't think it is a recolor of a model, if you ask me. But that's 200 tender in the month of July. There is actually a lot more items in July, by the way. There's normally like 15. This month there's actually 19. This was announced previously. So yeah, we're going to have a lot more items coming to the trading post, which is cool. The next item is a one-handed fist weapon called the Fist of Polar Fury. This is a recolor of the fist weapon Pride, a blue recolor of it. This is 175 tender. I do like it a lot. This animation does not do it any favors, unfortunately. But yeah, this is the kind of new fist weapon that's coming. Obviously, dual wielding this would look very, very cool. Or you can dual it with its obviously recolor of Pride, which is an awesome looking one-handed fist weapon. Next up is the Sinister Felstaff. Apparently, this is Gul'dan's walking stick. So yeah, this is a model which has not been available to players. This is 175 tender, so if you want a kind of basic transmog for your staff, this is going to be available for you in the month of July. Next up, the two transmog ensembles are the Wanderer's Violet Trappings and the Vengabond's Violet Thread. So these are the purple variant of the items we've had over the last couple of months in different colors. So July, we're going to be getting them in purple, which is really cool. The cool little neckerchief and of course the cloak, which matches very, very nicely together. And of course the hooded version, which is also available. Both of those available for 100 tender each, if that is something you're interested in getting. Next item is the Silvered War Cloaks. This is actually really interesting. This is actually an Alliance transmog. This is a kind of recolor of one of the items from Warfronts, I believe. It doesn't say here that it is Alliance or Horde only, so maybe this is the first kind of Warfront armor that we can actually use across different factions. So yeah, the Silvered War Cloak is 75 tender, very, very cheap. And yeah, so if you're Alliance, not too good, but if you're Horde, you know, you could potentially wear this, which is really cool. Next up is the Polished Short Sword. I believe this is a recolor of one of the basic swords from Exile's Reach. We've had a couple of these come in a few times. This is only 75 tender, so if you want a more basic one-handed sword transmog, that will be available to you in the month of July for 75 tender. Next up is a shirt transmog, the Fabulously Flashy Finery. Yep, say that 5 times fast. This is a shirt transmog, very similar to last month's offerings. So if you want a more basic transmog for your shirt, that is also going to be available at 50 tender. So yeah, pretty darn cheap. And finally, the Primeval Basher. This is a cool looking mace. I've not seen this model before, as far as I'm aware, so maybe it's a new model or unused or used by NPCs. It's a one-handed mace transmog, 50 tender, very, very basic, very simple. I do like the simple transmogs in here. I think a lot of them do look very cool and very awesome, especially if you're into like RP and things like that, or you just want to make your character look a bit more basic. So yes, the Primeval Basher is the final item of July. So yeah, there you go, guys. 19 new items on the trading post this month, slightly more than previous months, but we do have a lot more traders tender coming in through the Traveler's Log this month, and of course, the Netherwing Drake is coming, the new dragon riding mount. I love that. So yeah, let me know down below what you think of the July offerings for the trading post. I really like it. I think there's some really cool stuff in there. It's really nice to see this kind of system being expanded on, and yeah, it's great. I love the trading post, and it's really cool to see that Netherwing Drake. Hopefully, after this month, that Netherwing Drake is also available elsewhere, because it is very elusive and interesting. You know, I think people should be able to get that outside of the trading post, obviously, of course. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. So guys, thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please do leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to support me outside of YouTube, I also have a Patreon and I'm on Twitter at MrGMYT. And I also have a Discord channel as well. And as mentioned, I am on Twitch, twitch.tv/MrGM. If you want to see me stream World of Warcraft, Dragonflight PTR, and more, I'm over on twitch.tv/MrGM every single day. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time.